I thought in the order, we could start with Rachel and then Sonia and then Lynette and then Julie.
Here's the blanket. It fits about on a full-size bed. Gosh. I'm glad Margaret mentioned about the survey that she sent out to the sample knitters at the beginning, because I really appreciated that. I was definitely on the no sewing, please, end of the spectrums. What appealed to me about this blanket was that even though it was a lot of pieces, I did not have to sew anything together. It was all made in these lens or petal shapes were done, but with live stitches on both sides. So then when you put them together, you just had to put the live stitches back on, knit toward the middle. This blanket also featured the 3-needle bind off, which I thought was really cool and a really neat way to decrease rapidly to get those, those curved shapes to fit together nicely.
Rachel, we have a request from Audrey. If it's possible to see the backs. I think everyone's always really fascinated with the backs of projects as well.
Sure.
So
I don't know if you can, how much you can see of that, but you can see where these were all the live stitches.
That's beautiful.
There were obviously lots of ends. I think I worked half of them as I was putting the blanket together, and then the other half I had to do all at once at the end. Margaret allowed us 4 months to finish a blanket, so I was like, okay, I don't know, I think it was 90 petals to do, and then so many joins of the circles together, and then so many, once you have 4 circles together, then you have to put those together. So I had it really, really, really mapped out, and I think I finished with a week and a half to spare. So I was happy about that. But
You did a great job, Rachel.
thank you. And this was knit with sugar bush yarn, which I
Sugar
think
bush
is a
gold. Yeah.
Yeah, Canadian. It's really nice and squishy, and
I love that yarn. It's worth every penny, in my opinion. And you did a beautiful job. I was sorry to send that blanket back.
thank you. Yes, it was 19 colors. When I first saw the yarn, I was like, wow, that's a lot of colors. But I think it came out beautifully.
Thanks, Rachel. So next is Sonia. I think Sonia has given away one of her blankets, but she's going to show us one of them.
Yeah. So Margaret, thank you so much for this opportunity. This is quite an honor to be here. So I'm an avid blanket knitter. I actually knit blankets for charity quite a bit. And I also crochet and knit. And so I like to switch skill sets because my hands hurt. So, crochet, great, lots of colors, lots of different designs, but I was really frustrated with knitting because so many of the patterns maybe have textures, but they're all pretty solid color. And so when Margaret put the geometric knit and then became the Prisma on the Ravelry test, I got so excited because it was such a brilliantly colored pattern, and I'd never seen that before. So I was jumped on the opportunity to knit Prisma right away, and then it led to knitting more and more blankets for her. I love them because not only the color and the design, but it's all garter stitch. So super easy just to sit and knit while you're watching TV at home. So I made this one here. This is a picnic. Let me show you the back as well. The way this one is knit is each hexagon is its own piece, and then they are stitched together. And then this white, one of the white blocks here, is actually stitched together as well. Each hexagon is knit as a whole, but then you're doing a little bit of stitching. And so this was a fun project to make because it was really portable. I knit it summer 2019 it was, and I was doing a bit of traveling. And so I was able to take the project with me quite easily and knit it wherever I was. Love the yarns. I love knitting with acrylic yarn. It's washable, it's a blanket, and especially if I'm donating it. So this was made with a paint box yarn from Love Crafts. It's an Aran weight. I use this yarn quite a bit, so I was excited when Margaret presented the opportunity to knit this blanket because I was using my favorite yarn. It was just kind of a wonderful pattern as well.
Sonia, we have a request. Would you mind holding the blanket up and maybe stand back so we can see the full blanket? Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
There's a lot of colors in this one as well. Thank you, Sonia. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so next up is Lynette. Lynette's going to show us the Pulsar blanket.
I actually have both.
Oh, you have two. You have two. Sorry. Yes.
It's
And
okay.
ribbons. Yeah.
I just thought my other one black. So I have the Pulsar blanket. And here's the back.
That one looks pretty similar on the back, I think.
It does. So
with
you
the
can
stripes.
see, sorry, my lighting in here is not the best. And the fun part about this blanket is you start with these little triangles for the outside. And then you knit the entire blanket from the outside in. I've had so many people asking me, it's like, what? That's knit from the outside in, not from the inside out? But as mentioned before, it has that 3-needle bind off. And it's just was super fun to knit. Cascade 128, so it's the heavier weight yarn. Super,
Yeah, I really liked the weight of that blanket. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's nice.
I know. It was like I gifted it to my son and he's like, I don't want to give that back. It's like, okay, well, I just have to have it for tonight.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty big blanket, pretty heavy, nice and cozy for winter. And that's what I really enjoyed because I think I was knitting that, was that winter of 2019?
Yes.
Yeah, as I said, it's like we were traveling, so we were in a camper and it was pretty nice to keep me warm.
Yeah.
I was working on it.
And that is a designer. She also is a knit and crochet designer herself. You should check out her patterns.
And then I have the ribbons blanket, which was also super fun to knit. And here's the back. And this one was, originally I had told Margaret I really did not like seaming, but she showed me this pattern and I just fell in love. She said she needed a sample knitter for this one. I started out just knitting all these little squares. And then I knit the rectangles. And then the bigger squares. These. And then I seamed them together. And because I was working on those during the summer months, it worked a lot better to have small projects that weren't hot while we were traveling. Together, it was actually really not that bad seaming. It's like I ended up just sitting down on I think I laid all of the pieces out on a queen size bed and then just flipped them over and just went along and seamed it all.
Lynette, we have a question about the Pulsar. Is that knit on one like circular needle?
Yeah, I used I think a 60-inch circular needle.
Did you feel that was long enough, Lynette? Was it cramped or?
It was pretty cramped at the beginning, but because you're decreasing pretty fast, you could use two 40-inch circulars. And that would probably.
With a connector, with a joiner, you mean?
Yeah. No, actually, it's like, actually, I think that's how I started. And then I ended up getting just one 60-inch.
Okay.
So I did a magic loop on half and the other half with a 40-inch. And that's how I worked them.
Okay, good. Good tip. Yeah, thank you. Those are beautiful. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming, all of you. So next up will be Julie Anderson, and she has 4 blankets to show us.
As I said, I'm not a real big talker. I just really love to knit. So I felt so blessed to be able to find Margaret and to be able to knit for her. So this is Hip to Be Square, and it is a very large blanket. And I'm not really a quilter, but because this, I think it was the first one I did for Margaret, and I decided I wanted to quilt it. And so I can't show you the back of it because I have fleece on the back that I'm literally quilting onto it. So this has been a challenge for me. It isn't finished, so I still have pins in it, but I'm enjoying that I could quilt it. That's my challenge there. It was made with Knit Picks Brava. All of them, whether they called for double point needles or whatever, I love doing magic loop. So wherever I could do magic loop, I did magic loop. This is Verdant. And this was very fun to knit. If I can remember correctly, you started with the square. Let's see, the square here. And then you would do each triangle and then the leg, and then pick up and do the triangles. It was very fun to learn to do all these different things. I thought I was a really good knitter, but I was amazed with what Margaret has taught me through her patterns. And this is Perpetual Motion. And this is the back of that. And this one was just super fun. You started with each shape here and then just connected them, which made the beautiful design. And Margaret's blankets are, some of them were overwhelming for me as I read through the pattern, but I need to tell you to just do exactly what the pattern says and you can do it. Don't overthink it, just do it. And this is Prisma. And this one I just love because of all the bright colors. And if I remember right, you started in the center and worked out. Then did these stripes here and then connected with the smaller. And it's just like a puzzle to knit Margaret's blankets and to just watch them come together. They are just so much fun. And it really is mind-boggling that I could do it to begin with, but then to end up with these beautiful blankets that look like quilts. So thank you, Margaret, for the opportunity to knit for you.
Thank you, Julie. That's so nice. Thanks. Did a great job presenting those. Thanks.
Thanks.
So yeah, I'm just very grateful. I have fabulous sample knitters, and I'm still working with most of the sample knitters that participated in knitting blankets for the first book.